Bookness, this is Gabby, and today we're going to be reflecting on my reading year so far. So I decided to do this quarterly check-in thing, so I'm gonna just like reflect on the last 3 months of reading. I know that lots of other people do this. Personally, I know I watched Kayla from Books and Lala do some kind of like quarterly check-in, and I wasn't sure what I wanted to do with it, so I decided just kind of, first I was gonna like talk about my 5 favorite books, but I was that's boring, so instead I asked you guys for ideas and suggestions, and you delivered, and thank you so much if you commented either here on YouTube or on Twitter. I chose several of those comments plus added a couple of my own things, and we're gonna talk about the most something books, the the most beautiful, the ugliest, the best, whatever, and also just talk about I read so many cool books, and I do a lot of reviews, as you know, and I do vlogs. People don't watch my vlogs, so this could be a really good way of chatting. So let's jump into it. Okay, so I'm gonna timestamp all the questions down below, so if you want to jump around, that's completely fine. But let's start with a little bit of statistics. So we're discussing January, February, and March. We're discussing these 3 months. So in 3 months, I have read 34 books. Means more than 10 a month, which is really good, and I'm quite happy with my pace. 53% of those books I read were ebook, 67.6% of those were adult, 21 books I have read for videos. So I would have read it at some point, but I read it purely just for, but I read it right now because I was making a video about it. And then 13 books I read just because I felt like it. And then Tafty asked what was the book that took me the longest to read / the shortest time to read. So let's start with the longest. It was Emma by Jane Austen. I do actually have it. It took me 29 days to read, which, wow. Okay, I must have put it away for a while or something. And then several books took me like 1 day. I read Carmilla all in 1 day. Like that was like within the 24 hours I read it. And then books that took me, 1 day I start and finish the other day. Love Hypothesis, Iceland Barbarians, The Red Palace, and Barbarian Alien. Okay, I thought I would also mention the 1 DNF of the 3 months. I mean, I don't put the DNFs on my spreadsheet and I don't really count them in anything. I mean, maybe if I read like over 50% or like 70%, and then I just probably finished the book. It was a match like 5-10%. I DNF'd Mermaid by Tom Lowe because this book sucked. It was so bad. This book is about a detective and he finds a dead body in a mermaid suit, but it was written so weirdly. I don't really read that many books by white cis straight men, and it was shocking. It was shocking. The writing of women was shocking, so I DNF'd that one. So now let's move on to the questions you guys have sent. Well, first question is actually not from anyone, it was just mine. So okay, book with the best cover. That must be The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea by Axie. I think it's just gorgeous, and I also was thinking, what's the best cover, Because I read some really, really good covers, but I thought this one was just so gorgeous and just told you so much about the story as well, and once you read it, you understand what it means and stuff like that. So I just thought this was, a gorgeous, gorgeous book with a gorgeous, gorgeous cover. So in the Girl That Fell Beneath the Sea, we follow Mina, whose brother's girlfriend is likely to be sacrificed to the sea god in order to stop the floods and the hurricanes and stuff. And Mina decides to sacrifice herself instead of her brother's girlfriend because he loves her so much. Oh my god, that's even the red. Oh my god, that's so cool. I never noticed this before. Okay, the red strings of faith coming out both sides. Okay, yeah, this was my favorite cover. So then Hanan asked, what is the worst cover? And I don't have it physically, and also it's not all of the editions, because actually the one I picked up on Script was really pretty, but then the one that came up on Goodreads was terrible. So this is The Seas by Samantha Hunt. So this is the cover I saw on Script, which is gorgeous, I really liked, and this is the cover that was on like Goodreads, and it's like the older cover. That's terrible. Overall, The Seas is a story about a girl who believes is a mermaid. She lives in a small town by the sea, and it's about unraveling of her mental health. Or maybe she's just a mermaid. It was disturbing, it was weird, it was nonsensical, but we got through it, and I don't really know what I think about it. I didn't like it. Next up, we have the most surprising. So Amber asked, a book that surprised you, good or bad? And then also Hannah said biggest surprise. And I think it's From Blood and Ash by Jennifer L. Armentrout. So From Blood and Ash is an adult romance fantasy. We follow a girl named Poppy who is the maiden, which means she's treated as a holy person, cannot be touched or looked upon. So she wears this veil all day long. She gets assigned a new bodyguard, and you know, it's a whole thing. I thought it'd be like, yeah, it was alright, but it was so good. It was so good. It wasn't alright, it was good. It was so addicting, and it was well written and well paced. The sequel was really good. I know people are mad about the newest book. I've not read it. I don't know what the spoilers are. I've not even read the third book. But the first book and the second book were both really, really good and really had me like invested in the story. So I'm kind of sad that now the books continue to be bad. But oh well, what are you gonna do? But the first one, oh my god, I was shocked how much I liked it. Like to the point where I started book 2 immediately and then started book 3 immediately, even though I didn't finish book 3 because I had other stuff to do. But like, I was invested. I have a whole video actually about books that give me the same, you know, butterfly feelings. If you want to check that out, please do. Then we're pairing up that question with the most disappointing book of the quarter, and that must be The House of Sky and Breath by Sarah J. Maas. I mean, I'm not the biggest Sarah J. Maas stan, but I really, really, really liked House of Earth and Blood. I thought it was such a good book, really well paced, really spicy, really interesting plot, interesting world, and then everything just fell so completely flat in this book, like nothing happened. Oh my god, and it's too many pages for nothing to happen. Oh, and Tafty also asked what's the chunkiest book I read, and it was From Blood and Ash. I mean, unless you count Saga, but it's a graphic novel, so it's not word-wise. But anyway, yeah, this was so bad. It was so disappointing. It was just boring. It wasn't even offensively bad or outrageously bad. It was just so boring. Oh my god. You and me, bro. We've been through a lot together because I had to read you for 5 years. Next up, we have the most unforgettable. So Victoria asked this question, and then Tafty also said the book with a most lasting impression, I guess. So I took this to be either good or bad, and I chose These Violent Delights by Micah Nemerever. It teased you to think it's a dark academia, but it's kind of like a psychological thriller, and we follow a boy named Paul, who's a Jewish boy living in New York in the 80s or something, and he gets in a romance with this other boy from his class. I hated the experience of reading this book. I absolutely wanted to kill Paul and myself. No, I'm joking. I wanted to kill Paul. I deserve to live, not Paul. I just found the main character to be so insufferable. Oh my god, sitting in his brain and through his thoughts just gave me this dread, like this dread of living. Like, I don't know, I didn't want to do it anymore. I hate him, and I hate the book. It's a good book in a sense that it's well written and I understand what I was trying to do, and I appreciate that. It's just like, keep it away from me. It was so tedious to get through. I hated Paul. I hate people like Paul. Oh my god, it's just like the whiniest, most apologist for himself, like, oh, I didn't do anything wrong, everyone doing everything else wrong. I'm like, shut up. Anyway, I hate Paul, but the book was pretty impactful, as in like, I sometimes just like, you know, we'll just be like doing something and then I'll think about it. I'm like, damn, that was intense. So I definitely won't forget it for a long time. I don't think it was bad, but it's just not the kind of thing I like. So there you go. Char asked most unputdownable From Blood and Ash, definitely in that category. But I actually want to talk about Project Hail Mary by Andy Weir. So this book is an adult sci-fi, and we follow a man who wakes up in a spaceship and he doesn't have any memory, doesn't know what happened, doesn't know why he's on the spaceship, and doesn't know what his mission is and that kind of thing. I love this book. Oh my god, it was so addicting. The audiobook was so well done. I was shocked how fast I read it, considering audiobooks take me forever. Like, I'm reading a book on an audiobook right now and it's a good book, but I'm just like, just whatever, just stop it. Like, I don't want to pick it up. But this book, I was just so into it. Oh my god, it was so well done. The production was so high quality, and it's just, I don't know, it just gave me joy. It gave me a lot of joy, and it was such a good book and such a good story. I also wanted to put it in unforgettable because I constantly think about it, and I'm just like, wow, I need to pick up more sci-fi. And then I also think, oh wow, secrets of the universe. What if there are aliens? Like, what's gonna I don't know. It was just so good. I really enjoyed this book, and I was addicted. So Hannah asked most average, and I just took that to mean to be literally run of the mill. This was fine, there was nothing wrong with it, but I didn't love it. And I'm just gonna tell you a couple of books. So Gallant by V. Schwab, which is a young adult horror mystery, I don't know, fantasy novel. We follow a young girl who's an orphan, and she gets she gets a letter from her uncle asking her to come meet her family. Absolutely fine, but kind of meh. Nothing wrong with it, but nothing right with it either, if you know what I mean. Then we have Monstrous Heart by Claire McKenna. Again, it's a gothic novel. We are set in this like seaside town with a woman who has a special power that can sustain house light. It was good. I actually did enjoy it, but I just didn't like capture my attention or, you know, make me swoon. And then we also have Spindle Splintered because Alix Harrow, which is a retelling of Sleeping Beauty, like a short novella, and it was perfectly fine, but I just didn't feel like it did anything for me personally. So like, yeah, perfectly fine, perfectly pleasant. Maybe for a younger audience it would be a bit more impactful, so I don't know. But yeah, I thought it was good, but just like didn't blow my mind. And the last thing I wanted to talk about was something Tafty brought up, which was new author discoveries. So I wanted to tell you 3 authors that I discovered that I am definitely gonna pick up more books from, and I'm gonna, you know, follow around the internet. Sounded weird. So first one is Jane Eyre, which is who's the author of The Red Palace, historical fiction set in Korea, Joseon in 1700s, I think. And we follow a palace nurse who gets caught up in an investigation about a murder. I really love this book, and it just got me in such a mood for Korean dramas and more Korean inspired books. So I'm definitely gonna pick up more Jane Eyre because she has like 3 books already, I think. I know there's Silence of Girls and something else, but they're all historical, which I didn't realize, and all based on Korean mythology. Or maybe history, not mythology, I don't know. But I am so excited to read all of those. I'm really looking forward to it. I think they're going to be pretty awesome. The second author was Lauren Blackwood, who's the author of Within These Wicked Walls. I really enjoyed this book. I was really quite surprised how much I liked it. It was really good performance by the audiobook narrator as well. And the author did a really good job writing a gothic story. I didn't tell you what the book is about. So in this one, we have a retelling of Jane Eyre set in Ethiopia, or like Ethiopian inspired country world, and it's about a woman who's a Deptra, which means she can expel curses and evil spirits, and she gets hired for a job in this creepy mansion. I really enjoyed this book, really like the romance, and I really am interested in what else the author does. I think this is the author's debut, so I'm not sure where they're going next, but I'm very excited about it. And the last author would be Axie, who wrote The Girl Who Fell Beneath the Sea, which I already told you about. Her passions include K-pop, anime, stationery supplies, and milk tea. Same girl. She currently resides in Las Vegas, Nevada. Nice. I'm excited to see what else she does and what's next on the cards, because this was such a brilliant entry, and it can be one of those authors I'll just follow forever. Okay, I'm sorry if I gave off any weird energy. I feel like I've not recorded in a while, and now it feels a little unnatural. And I really want milk tea now. I think I'm gonna go buy milk tea. If I go on a walk as well, then I burn the calories, right? So it's fine. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. I really would appreciate your feedback. What kind of questions would you like me to answer in next quarterly check-in, which will be in 3 months' time? So that'll be April, May, June. So at the end of June, or probably in July, we're going to talk about my quarterly favorites. So let me know in the comments if there's anything you would like to know. Let me know your answers to these questions. I would love to know. Let me know your favorite book, because could I even choose? That's too hard. But check out all the reviews, dedicated reviews I made to figure out which book is the right one for you. But thank you so much for watching, you guys. If you could comment, like, and subscribe, I really, really appreciate it. It really helps me out. But that's it from me, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!